Hi everybody, I'm Denise and I'd like to welcome you to 32Soft's November webinar, which is also our 2016 finale. Today's presenter is Christian, 32Soft's stupendous senior applications developer, and we are delighted to have a dynamic duo from Walbro join us today. Our special guest panelists, Judy Gardner and Marco Estrella, will share some insights and then answer any questions that you might have about their experiences. I will hand off to Christian in just a moment. First, though, please know that by default all attendees join the session already muted. Each of you should see a control panel similar to what I'm displaying, and there is the section here at the bottom where questions can be typed. Your questions can be typed in at any time, and then during the Q&A I will read the questions aloud in the order they were received. So that is it for housekeeping. Christian, if you are ready, I will hand off to you.
Hi everybody, my name is Christian and I will be presenting today's webinar about the BOM cost simulation tool. Many businesses face challenges when it comes to creating accurate cost estimations for new products. The estimation process can be cumbersome and labor-intensive, and by the time the cost estimation is finally developed, the information may be outdated or inaccurate. To address these challenges, we developed a solution which uses existing QED data as a basis for developed cost simulations. BOM cost simulations data loader helps finance, engineers, and sales more effectively simulate changes to existing products, or even develop costs for new products while eliminating waste and errors. With BOM cost simulation, you'll be able to easily track new or changed components visually because it uses different colors to signify different actions such as add, delete, or replace. And it is safe to use with QED because you simulate the changes in the spreadsheet that uses QED data but cannot affect or change existing QED data. Let's take a look and see how it works. After we launch the BOM simulation tool, we need first to select the database that we're going to connect to. So we'll click on the Setup button and we're going to choose the test database to connect to. And then we click on the Select button. The tool shows that we selected the test database. Then we need to enter a site and an item number, which is a good starting point for the new product we need to simulate. Then we need to click on the Download button. We will need to have a valid QED user ID and password in order to log in. Let's try to log in. I enter a wrong site, which the tool promptly shows with an error. Let me enter the correct site. This time the data is downloaded properly, and it's downloaded in two sheets. The first sheet, called PS Report, contains the original structure that we're starting from. The second sheet, Simulation, is a new sheet where you will be actually doing the estimate. You can see the parent item description as well as the cost, if applicable. Also the components, all the levels, components, descriptions, the quantity per, and the cost for the components. There's two total columns. The cost total column is the current structure cost, and in the new total column will contain the new cost once changes are being made. So let's say we would like to make changes to this product. First, we can delete a component. In order to do this, you select the component that you need to delete and click on the Delete button, and then you confirm the deletion. The component and any of its subcomponents, if applicable, are highlighted in red, and the action is set to delete. Let's say that we want to replace a component. Let's select the component, and then we click on the Replace button, and we'll enter the new component. This can be an existing QED item or a non-QED item. Let's use an existing QED item. Enter the quantity, and for the cost, We have to enter the cost for non-QED items because we need to know what the cost is. But for QED items, we can leave it blank, in which case the cost will be downloaded from QED. Let's confirm. And as we can see, the new component is highlighted in yellow, and the action is set to replace the old component. The old component and all its subcomponents are highlighted in orange, and the action is set to replace by the new component. We can also add new components to the structure. In order to do this, we'll have to select properly the level where we want to add the components as subcomponents. And let's say we want to add components to this level, and we'll click on the Add Component button. We'll enter a component. Let's enter a component which is not a QED item. And we'll have to enter the cost. And then we can enter another component, the same level. And let's add a third one even. The new components line is highlighted in green, as you can see here, and the action is set to add. Another option is that we can override the description if needed for non-QED items. Let's change for one the description. As a next step, we just click on the Simulate button, and the program will come up with the updated structure and cost. We can see data was sent to QED, and then the new structure is retrieved. Every new component added or replaced is exploded if applicable, like in this case. If the item doesn't exist in QED and description field was left blank, the description is set to experimental. Components which were not modified have cost displayed both in the cost total in the new total columns. The components which were deleted or replaced have the cost shown only in the cost total column. And the new added or replaces type of components are shown in the new total column. The S11 here contains now the grand new total. And this shows you the new product cost right away. We can simulate even further if needed. So we can add components or delete from the structure and simulate again. For example, let's add a new component to this level. Also, the new added components can be deleted or replaced. If we try to delete this component, for example, and confirm, it will just be deleted from the spreadsheet because it wasn't in the product structure to begin with. Or we can replace this and the component with all subcomponents will be removed from the structure and the new component will be added. And then we can click Simulate again. At this point, you can save the spreadsheet and put it aside as version 1 of this new product and move on to the version 2 or even another product. The second feature of this tool is that you can simulate a brand new product structure. For this, we need to click on the New BOM button. By default, the new item parent is called ES-, but we can enter the needed parent code and the cost if applicable. And then we can add subcomponents or components to this parent. Let's enter a cost even though this item exists in QED. And then we can click Simulate. and the product structure exploded, and we can see that for this it uses the for this component for which we enter the cost, it used the cost as entered, but for one which we left blank, it downloaded from QED. As a note, instead of adding components one by one, the whole structure can also be copy-pasted here from another source and set the action to add. For example, we can enter the parent, level, component, description, quantity per, cost at the minimum, and the action set to add, and then you can simulate and get the information from QED. This concludes my demo. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. As you could see, the BOM cost simulation data loader simplifies the process of making product pricing changes. It allows you to use items which are not in QED, so it is fast and easy to simulate a variety of options. The tool reduces overall time and effort for product pricing and approval. It gives finance and engineers a more streamlined process and provides the sales department with accurate numbers they need for superior customer care. This concludes my brief presentation, but I would just like to mention that this is just a high-level overview of the tool. If you want a more in-depth demonstration, we are happy to provide that for your company. Now I'd like to return control back to Denise.
Thanks, Christian. That was awesome, of course. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead. Your control panel, for anyone who joined late, has a section at the bottom. You can begin entering them. However, as mentioned at the start, we do have guest panelists with us today, Judy and Marco from Walbro. So before we move to the Q&A, Judy, Marco, will you please take a few minutes to share with everyone a little bit about your experiences?
Hi, my name is Judy Gardner, and I'm the Global IT Manager for Walbro. Working with 32Soft has really helped our company quite a bit. As you know, and most companies know, have Excel, and everybody's familiar with Excel and they know how to use it. And by using the loaders that 32Soft provided has helped us put the power in the user's hands rather than coming to IT. We were doing a lot of sim loads, changing data whenever there was a new structure or something new within Walbro. But that's for other loaders. But this one in particular, what was happening is our finance staff and engineering staff was constantly downloading a bill of material, putting it into Excel manually, whether it was doing from .NET into Excel and then making changes and looking up prices. It was costing a lot of time. By getting a loader, we could have them, meaning them, 32Soft, download it for us, and then we could make easy changes, and it made costing products much faster. And believe it or not, I think it also helped with the structure of naming parts and coming up with the engineering. I can't say enough about 32Soft. If you have special cost buckets or whatever, challenge them. They will help you make your company run faster, better, and be more productive. Now I'm going to pass it over to Marco, which he is the development controller for Walbro.
Thank you. I agree with what Judy was saying, and Christian, you did an awesome job with the presentation, by the way. I love what we have done with the 32Soft BOM simulator, because it puts the data right in front of the key persons who are making the decisions. And once you are confident that the data that you have in front of you is up to date and that it was obtained with the minimal resources. Right now, all the companies, I would guess that engineering time, it is a key resources that they have to optimize. So when we are developing new products or where we're costing new products, it's a product that we might be able to sell in the future, or customers just don't want to proceed with us. However, it's an exercise that has to be done, and that not always returns in a new business. So that's why we wanted to have a tool that could really help us optimize the time that the engineers were spending on, and also help us optimize the time of the cost accountants that were doing the actual estimates. This really helped us because right now there's only one person who's keying in the information, and the computer is doing the rest of it. Before, there were several persons typing in the information either into Excel spreadsheets or into normal paper and writing them down, and then another person had to key it in into a cost model, which will simulate the new costing. So that got eliminated completely with this tool. So it's a great tool to have. It is a very, very simple tool. I have been training the users myself, and I find it that at first it is a little bit overwhelming for them to understand that Excel can download information from QAD, but once they get the hang of it, it is a very, very simple tool, and everybody's starting to love it here.
That's awesome. Judy and Marco, thank you so much. We really do appreciate your insights and taking the time to share them with us today. And I think you guys are sticking around for some Q&A, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay, super. All right, then we will go ahead and we'll move along to the questions and answers. Okay, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for the questions. Also, please remember that today's demonstration was a high-level overview of basic functionality, and of course, configurations and challenges vary, as we know. So as Christian mentioned earlier, we are happy to provide demos for individual organizations. Let's move along so we can try to keep to our time. I know everybody's very busy. And again, today is our 2016 finale, but in January we are right back at it with work orders and routing details. Olena will be here to show the fastest and easiest way to create and monitor them. And then in February we'll take a look at processing and management of work orders, including the impact of component issue on availability and inventory accuracy, pros and cons of component issue or product receipt versus work order backflush, and lots of other good stuff, of course. March will be a great webinar to attend if you manufacture, sell, and service equipment. ISB grows huge over time, so an efficient management process is an absolute necessity, of course. And then our encore email, as always, as soon as the replay from today is available. That's typically within about a week. We will follow up with our encore email, which will include a link to the replay, questions, and answers. And you will always find registration links to any upcoming webinars or events at the bottom of all of our webinar communications. Before we wrap with a final thought, I do want to thank everyone very much for taking the time to attend today, and a special thank you to you both, Judy and Marco, for your time and contributions. They're greatly, greatly appreciated. And on to the final. Thank you. And our final thought, fast is fine, but accuracy is everything. Although Wyatt Earp's quote from the 1800s was not specific to manufacturing, fast is pretty much fruitless without accuracy, and our goal is always to help you achieve both and maintain both. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us, and have a fantastic day.